everybody join Clap. I'll post a link in the chat right now. There you go. Yeah, so Maghrib time, some of you is in 10 minutes. I don't know if it's for all of you. For all of you, I don't mind taking a break, but if it's going to be different for most of you, then we'll just continue, inshallah, and then everybody needs to break and pray and come back, inshallah, and then watch anything they missed on YouTube, inshallah. طيب بسم الله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه ومن والاه وبعد. أهلا وسهلا ومرحبا. حياكم الله جميعا. Welcome everyone to our fifth lecture. Alhamdulillah. Our fifth lecture in this course, the Arabic Conversational course. And today, inshallah ta'ala, we are going to start Unit 11. Unit 11, which is about An-Nas wal-Amakin. Okay, so yes, for some of you it's Maghrib, for some of you it's Isha. No problem. We'll do a quick poll then on WooClap. Everybody in WooClap? As a matter of fact, we might need to maybe change the start time of the lesson, maybe make it 9:15, 9:30. Let me just ask you on WooClap. What shall do about Salah time? So there's a quick one on WooClap. Those in the UK, obviously, I mean, let's quickly see. 7:30 start, have a break. Okay. Start 15 minutes later if possible. Okay, so basically we start at, well, everybody's saying 7:30 p.m. start. Which I don't mind. Some are saying 7:15. Okay. So I do suppose that most of you are joining on the same time zone, if I'm not mistaken. So let me do another poll. Good. A lot of time for going here. No. Yes. No. Okay, so you have another question there now. Let's get a feel of the numbers. Is it Salah time for you now, yes or no? So let's get more answers so it's more representative, inshallah. There's 15 of you here in the chat. So far it's 50-50. Okay. Seems like most of you is not Salah time at the moment. So, and like I did say many times before, it's really difficult to cater for everyone. There's Salah times. We're all in different. Most of us live in different time zones. So, inshallah, we're going to continue with the lesson. Those of you that have to pray Salah, then of course Salah comes first. Pray inshallah, then catch back up. And whatever you missed, the YouTube stream link is already on the group or the channel, and then you can just anything you miss, you can just watch it, inshallah. Because even if you delay the start time, you make it 7:30, it's going to be more difficult on those of you that are joining from the UAE or even from India. Okay. And it's more difficult for me as well because that means the workshop is going to finish at 11:30, which is quite late. Okay, let's start then. Bismillah. Okay, the very first thing, specifically before those of you that need to leave, leave, this is a very important question. What do you think about the volume of assignments? Because truth has to be said, there's a major difference. There's a major difference between last level and this level. This level, the assignments, there's a lot more writing involved. So you have reading comprehension, you have writing comprehension, you have listening comprehension. All of these assignments involve some level of writing, typing. So obviously I can see effect it's having. Some of the assignments I've marked, I tried my best to mark and return all the assignments, apart from the writing expression one, which had a few issues. But subhanallah, I noticed today that I returned 4 assignments, which was what was submitted by yesterday. And then there's another 6 submissions that came in sometime today or yesterday. I don't know. Didn't have time to mark it, obviously, before class. And generally speaking, some people are falling behind. And the issue is not really with the volume on a weekly level. The biggest issue is to do with, for those of you that fall behind. If you fall behind, the assignment should be at a level, I suppose, or I believe, whereby if you fall behind a week, you can still catch up. But if it's already at the edge and you're just about getting it done, then the moment you miss a week for whatever reasons, it almost becomes impossible to catch up. So I just want to have your input on it. What do you think of the volume of assignments? I haven't really added extra assignments. Whatever assignments I'm posting are directly from the book, just an electronic version of it. Okay? We used to do a lot of extra ones like your quizzes and a lot of extra things. And the vocabulary flashcards and stuff and the Quizlet Learn. But I don't know. So I just want to have your input on that. Right, let's see what we have here. I think it is a good amount. Okay, for me, good. I think they're okay. I missed notification for when assignments is signed and due. Okay, I'll do something about that, inshallah, going forward. Whenever I post assignments, I'll also let you know in the group. So that's fine, no problem. Is there any of you that thinks that assignments are not enough? So far, I see it's good amount, okay, good, enough. Someone feels like it's not enough. It's okay as I finish it the same day or the day after, but I did not see that the last 2 were open, the midweek one. Yeah, I'll do something about that. I'll make sure I let you know in the group. Sometimes there's still a little bit of delay, I'll be honest, on my side when it comes to posting the assignments, because I'm still trying to train a member of the team on how to take over that from me. So there's still some training going on. And today there was a major blunder as well. I posted the dialogue worksheets. I posted one from unit 3, i.e. from level 1 instead of level 2. So that was an issue as well. So, but inshallah, things should get smoother and smoother. So what we'll do going forward is whenever we post an assignment, we'll also let you know in the group. The way things work now is the assignments are posted on, or they should be posted on Sunday. So you can work on it Sunday and Monday. So you got 2 days to do the assignments basically before we have our Tuesday. Actually, you have 3 days actually. You have the whole of Sunday, whole of Monday, and Tuesday till class time. You have 3 days. Then you have another 3 days, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday to do the other assignments. So I think, 3 days for each set of assignments should be enough. Allahu Alam. I'm finding it difficult to complete all the assignments due to time this last week. A bit too much and hard to catch up when I miss some. Could do with a couple more. Okay, so some of you want even more. It's level 2. It's level 2, and I think the extra work is needed. It's up to us to spend more time. Okay, I'm finding. Okay, so what I would say is, in order to get things right, the general vibe that I get is it's enough. It's good enough, perfect amount. That's the general vibe that I get. Some of you could do with a bit more. Those of you that can do with a bit more, I'll post some supplemental exercises. And also, once you start booking yourself in for the workshops, believe me, that will keep you busy as well, inshallah. So the workshops for this week, we have the reading fluency and we have some extra workshops as well that you can book. So that will keep you busy as well. Okay. Those of you that find it difficult to catch up, then what I would say is, what I'm going to do is, inshallah, we're going to define some mandatory assignments and we'll make some of them optional, inshallah. So the optional ones, if you do it, fine. If you don't do it, then it's not the end of the world. Okay. Also, if you do find it too difficult, just email me, inshallah, and we'll see what we can do if you're particularly struggling with them. No. So I'll fix the timing, inshallah. Time between assignments being open and due is short. Yes, I agree with you. Yeah, the pre-unit, that was my mistake. Yeah, like I said, there was a blunder today, but no problem. We'll sort that out, inshallah. We'll make sure the assignments are posted in advance or in time, and that should give you more time. Entire week should be open at the start of the week. That is an option. I'll look into that. I decided to drip it so that people don't feel overwhelmed, but we can open it up, inshallah. No problem. Volume is a bit challenging because I started late. Yeah, those of you that started late, that is always going to be the case. But then what I would say is you prioritize doing the due assignments now, and then whenever you have extra time, you catch up and do what you've left, what you've missed, basically. Okay. And when it comes to typing, like I said before, you have to have a keyboard. If not, then try to use your phone, the on-screen keyboard. Last option should be using on-screen keyboards on a laptop where you have to click every letter by a mouse, which will take a lifetime. I think we need more workshops. Yes, there are more workshops, inshallah, from this week onwards. Right. There's an issue for me. My submitted work isn't retained on LMS. Please email me. If there's a technical issue, please email me, and then we'll sort that out. Right. Let's start with the class. Bismillah. Today, inshallah, we said we're going to start with unit 11. And before we do that, I need to point out a few pointers or a few things when it comes to the work that you've submitted. Okay, there were a few common mistakes. I'm not going to go into too much detail. I'm just going to point out two. Secondly, there was a quarterly, but I haven't posted it because so many of you were falling behind on assignments. So we'll post a quarterly test, inshallah. From Sunday, you'll have a whole week to do it. As long as you do it before next week's lesson, at least by Friday latest, so I can mark it in time for the lesson, then that's fine. So that's a quarterly test for units 9 and 10. Okay. So some of the common mistakes I came across is there's one question that said ماذا شرب الزوج or something like that. What did he drink? The husband. So a lot of you wrote شرب شاي دافئ. Now there's an issue with that. Who knows? Let me post that quickly on WooClap. So what's wrong with this statement or this answer when it comes to ماذا شرب الزوج? A lot of you answered شرب شاي دافئ. What's wrong with that? Questions on WooClap. Something wrong with this browser. How's my internet, by the way? I think I need to change the connection. Let me change the connection for a moment. Hope I don't lose you. Am I still there? Everybody hear me still? Okay. Let's see your answers. Feminine. No, it said zoj, which is husband. There's no doer after the verb. There doesn't need to be. The doer or the fa'il is mustatir, is hidden within the verb itself. تقديره هو, i.e. he drank. نعم. So here this is the correct answer. مفعول به, or it needs to be منصوب بفتحة التنوين. The مفعول به does not have alif ولا. نعم. So that's the issue basically. شرب شايا دافئا. Why? Because if you read it like this without the alif for فتحتين and the alif here, this would be شرب شاي دافئ. That basically means the tea drank. Now شاي becomes fa'il, becomes the doer, the subject of the verb. شرب شاي دافئ. That means some warm tea drank. What did he drink? How can tea drink? Okay. So شايا دافئا, it's the object. Okay. And it's an answer to the question ماذا شرب الزوج. Okay. شرب شايا دافئا. Now, some of you also answered شاي دافئ. And I think that's what I should have asked here, which would be more challenging. What's wrong with شاي دافئ as an answer to ماذا شرب الزوج? Then the same question, it's the same answer. The problem is it should be شايا دافئا. Why? Because we do تقدير, or we assume that shariba is there because it's in the question. Whenever we answer a question, dear brothers and sisters, then the question is embedded into the answer, even if we repeat the question or not. So if I ask you, for example, masmuka, and you say Muhammad, yes, then embedded within your answer is, or what's implicit within your answer is ismi Muhammadun. Okay, because Muhammad in of itself, if you just walk around as Muhammad, that doesn't mean anything. That doesn't mean anything. Okay, Muhammad what? But if you say Muhammad as an answer to a question, someone asks you masmuk, or someone says man hada, okay, or someone says man sharib al-shay, and you say Muhammad, then Muhammad takes on whatever i'rab according to the question. Man hada Muhammad, i.e. hada Muhammad. Masmuka Muhammad, i.e. ismi Muhammad. Man sharib al-shaya Muhammad, i.e. Muhammadun sharib al-shaya. Okay, that's when it's marfu'. But also when it's mansub, the same thing applies. So if you say, for example, man ra'ayt, who did you see? You can't say Muhammadun, you have to say Muhammadan. Why? Because embedded within your answer is ra'aytu Muhammadan, I saw Muhammad. واضح? For example, لمن هذا الكتاب؟ محمد. Why? هذا الكتاب لمحمد. This was understood. لمن هذا الكتاب? Whose book is this? You can't say محمد. لا. You have to say محمد. Why? Because what's understood is, what's embedded within the answer is هذا الكتاب لمحمد. واضح? Or هذا كتاب محمد. Either way, it's going to be مجرور, or with two kasras at the end. So please keep that in mind. This is really important. طيب, like I said many times before, the Arabs, they say لولا التقدير لفهم النحو الحمير. They say if it wasn't for taqdeer or these implicit meanings, then even donkeys would understand Arabic grammar. Okay, so that's what makes Arabic grammar difficult, يعني. The fact that there are things there that are not mentioned, okay, that are understood. And that's the beauty of the Arabic language, because that keeps Arabic language a language that is concise. In the Quran, there are so many tafsir of ayat in the Quran. It takes its beauty, or the beauty, because of the taqdeer. You look at it, you're like, huh, what does this mean? But then someone who's got the language, who understands, will say to you, this means such and such. Why? Because it was understood this and this. Why is it understood? Because of the context. And it makes it so beautiful. Okay? Concise, beautiful speech. Another mistake that I came across is هل يذهب الزوج والزوجة إلى السوق? This is one of the answers I got. So tell me what you think is wrong with it. So this is an answer to the question متى or هل يذهب الزوج والزوجة إلى السوق? That was the question. Someone said, I don't know how to use physical keyboard on my PC. Well, if you have the Arabic physical keyboard, so it has to be a keyboard that actually has Arabic letters on them. I'm not sure if you can see that. You see? Can you see that? So it has the English letters, and it also has the Arabic letters, right? So you can either buy such a keyboard on Amazon or whatever, or you can get stickers that you put on each letter, okay? Which might be a bit challenging if you don't know where it goes, but it should come with some kind of manual. Then you'll be able to use the Arabic keyboard. Then obviously you go to settings and you change the keyboard to Arabic, and that should work, okay? No, there's none in Albania. Okay. You got Amazon in Albania? worldwide shipping, eBay. Allah make it easy for you. Now, your next best option would be just to do the homework on your phone. Because on your phone, you can have, or the iPad, you can have an on-screen keyboard that's Arabic, iPad or whatever tablets that you have. That would be the next best option. If you can't do both, then what you should do is you should either use on-screen keyboard on your laptop. I'll share the link if you want. Or you can use the website I showed you last time called Yemli, whereby you type in English and then it gives you the word in Arabic. I don't advise you to use that, but as an emergency, if you like solution, then that might get you by. So I showed you that last time. Let me show you again for those of you who didn't catch it. So there's a website called Yemli. Let's open the website, new tab. Okay, so if you go to this website, let's say Sheribu, I'm going to write Sheribu Dafian. Okay, so I would write in English basically. Hope you can see that. Zoom in a little bit. Okay. So we have Sheriba Shayin Dafin. Let's try Sheriba Shayin Dafin. Sheriba. You see, it gave you Sheriba, okay? And then let's write Shayan. Okay, so he gave you Shayan, Shayan. You see, it's always a bit challenging. Let's say Shayan like that. Yes, Shayan. Okay. And then say Dafi'an. Dafi. Oh, a minute. Dafi. And there you go. So you got Shariba Shayan Dafi'an. It added the harakat, obviously, which I always advise you to get rid of when you're answering questions. That's it. Shariba Shayan Dafi'an. And then you can copy and paste that into the assignment. Okay, so just if you want, put Yemli on one side, split screen, and put the assignment on the left side and just copy and paste it over, inshallah. Or just use the on-screen keyboard websites, which are better because at least you get used to the layout of the keyboard until you get a physical one. Going back to the answers. What's wrong with? So the answer obviously is la. They're not going to go to the souq. Okay. So here, يذهب is masculine. All right, what is it meant to be? Well, it's meant to be plural. Okay, so it should be يذهبان. We haven't done that yet. Okay, that's why if you just said la, he would have been fine. Sometimes some of you try to write longer sentences and you get yourself in trouble. I don't mind if the sentence or your answer is as concise as possible, as long as it's correct. And that might save you a lot of time as well. Okay. But here, the student here wrote la, and then with a comma, and then يذهب. This is confusing. I still don't know if he's going or not. You said no, he is going. It doesn't make sense. So the problem here is with the comma. The comma shouldn't be there. Okay. Or like somebody suggested here, you should repeat la again so you can negate that he went. Right now, you've negated the answer. You said la, which would mean they're not going. But then you affirmed it by saying يذهب, he's going. See, don't go together. Okay. So you can either say la, then a comma, la يذهب, repeat it. Or you can say la يذهب without a comma. Don't add the comma. Because if you add the comma, you are separating between the la and the يذهب. So now la is not a negation of يذهب anymore. So this is important. I have seen this mistake quite a few times. So your use of the comma makes a major difference. You can't just use the comma without thinking about the implications that it might have. Okay, right. Let's go on to today's class. Week 3. Let's do a quick overview. as according to the book, obviously, like we said, the book is saying that this theme is an-nasu wal-amakin, okay? People and places, people and places. And this week, inshallah, is all about asking about reasons why. So when people say something, you say limada, why? Okay? Expressing your opinion and inquiring about modes of transport, inquiring about workplaces. Okay? But these two are really the most important things. This, if you like, unit is all about expressing your opinion and asking other people about their opinions and why they have those opinions. Okay? In terms of vocabulary, we have core vocabulary is names of places, and it's kind of mixed, this term. It doesn't really, this unit is really there's not really a theme to the vocabulary that we're learning. Okay. When it comes to the themed vocabulary on Quizlet, I haven't looked at that. But you can look at that, inshallah. For example, professions would help. Okay. Places and those sort of themes if you find them, inshallah. In terms of grammar, we're going to learn about the question word limada. We haven't done that yet. Also, we're going to go a bit deeper into past tense verbs. We have done that before. We're going to learn some extra conjugations. We'll learn about a few extra prepositions as well, such as ma'a, with. And also, slowly, the book is starting to introduce plurals. Okay? So the book, first 8 units, no plurals, just singular words. I think that's the best approach. Okay? First, you should get the hang of the grammar concepts, without introducing plurals. So you get hang of the pronouns ana and anta and anti and who and here. These are just the singulars, so that you understand what pronouns are. You understand what verb conjugation is. These are big concepts. Once you get the hang of them, then you build on it by teaching you how to make them plural. Okay, so that's one major thing as well here. Obviously, last week we learned nadhabu, which is the first plural conjugation we've done so far. That's the first plural conjugation we've done. We go, or then the noon at the beginning, basically, for present tense. But in this particular unit, there's a lot of words that you've studied before, but now you learn their plural, if you like, versions, inshallah. Projected learning outcomes. There are 28 core vocabulary that you have to memorize this week. Make sure you know them inside out, and you do the test, the Quizlet test assignment at the end of the week. In terms of comprehension, develop your ability to comprehend written and spoken Arabic when expressing your opinion and asking speakers of the language about theirs. Okay, so now you're getting better and better in the language. Now you're going to start to discuss and ask people for their opinions, why they have their opinions, and give reasons why your opinion is what it is. Okay. Speaking skills, initiate conversations in Arabic with confidence by expressing your opinion and asking others about the reason for their opinions. And in terms of pronunciation, this week is all about the tha and the sin. Generally speaking, these are not two sounds that are just challenging for English speakers for the most part, unless you're from London, okay, or certain accents in London where they the tha and the sin is kind of like the same. Okay. So tha and sin. Okay. Tha as in 3. And sin as in, no, actually, no, some accents in London, they mix up between the tha and the fa, not the tha and the sin. Okay. These sounds are more challenging for people from other languages, specifically Asian countries. Okay. But as English speakers, I don't think you have an issue with tha and sin, because they're both. Why don't you have an issue with it as English speakers? Why are these two sounds easy for you? Because they're part of the Arab English alphabet. Tha, th for 3, and sin, the s. So there's no issue. But there are languages out there that don't have these two sounds, or only have one of these two sounds. Right. Pre-unit assignments. We don't need to go over that. Inshallah, just have a go at it when you can. Once I make the correction anyway. So let's go on and listen to the first dialogue, inshallah, and then do some pre-assessment. And after that, we'll cover the grammar, and then we'll break up for the workshops, inshallah. Any questions? Right. Okay. My laptop is quite a long stand. Let me stop sharing this. Wait. Allow me to close a few apps here. Laptop keeps on lagging. Okay, should be slightly better. Okay. Bismillah. So we listen to the dialogue, inshallah, and then we will explain. Ever see the screen?
والأماكن. الوحدة 11. الناس والأماكن. الكتاب الأول. الوحدة 11. الناس والأماكن. الدرس 91. الحوار الأول. انظر واستمع.
لماذا تركت العراق؟ انتقلت الشركة إلى جدة وأنا مدير الشركة هنا. كنت سعيدا في العراق؟ هذا صحيح، العراق بلد جميل ولي أصدقاء هناك. ما رأيك في جدة؟ جدة مدينة كبيرة وجميلة جدا. كيف تقضي الوقت في جدة؟ أذهب مع الأسرة إلى شاطئ البحر. وأين تذهب الآن؟ أذهب إلى مكة للعمرة والصلاة في المسجد الحرام. كم تستغرق الرحلة إلى مكة؟ تستغرق ساعة واحدة تقريبا.
والآن جاء دورك. انظر. الوحدة 11. الناس والأماكن.
Oh, sorry. What a blunder. Let me make somebody co-host, by the way, so that doesn't happen again. Yeah, so I was saying is go to WooClap, inshallah, and let me know if there is any words you don't understand. Okay, so let's go to WooClap. Which words don't you understand here on WooClap?
الوحدة 11. الناس والأماكن. الدرس 91.
المفردات: ينتقل، هناك، أصدقاء، عمرة، سعيد، البحر. مدير الشركة. رحلة. مدينة.
Okay. So ينتقل clearly seems like most people don't understand what ينتقل means. He said انتقلت الشركة إلى جدة. انتقل ينتقل means to move. Means to move. Okay, to move from one place to another. Okay, so انتقلت إلى الرياض. I moved to Riyadh. ينتقل محمد إلى مكة. Muhammad is moving to Mecca. هناك all of you understand أصدقاء عمر الحمد لله. سعيد. سعيد means happy. سعيد means happy. البحر. بحر means sea. Okay. مدير الشركة all of you seem to understand. It's not spending time on that. رحلة. رحلة means trip. رحلة means trip. Okay. So he said كم تستغرق الرحلة إلى مكة? How long does the trip to Mecca take? And then we have Medina. Medina means city. Now they haven't added here the verb تستغرق. استغرق يستغرق, which I don't think we've done before, but it means how long does it take basically. Okay. مدير الشركة means مدير means manager. Manager. شركة means company. So company manager, CEO, mudir, whatever. Okay. He's in charge of the sharika, in charge of the company. طيب. All right, let's go to the let's ask now about the sentences. So that's the vocabulary. In terms of these sentences, right? Is there a particular sentence you don't understand completely? So I'm going to read it quickly. لماذا تركت العراق؟ انتقلت الشركة إلى جدة وأنا مدير الشركة هنا. كنت سعيدا في العراق. هذا صحيح. العراق بلد جميل ولي أصدقاء هناك. ما رأيك في جدة؟ جدة مدينة كبيرة وجميلة جدا. كيف تقضي الوقت في جدة؟ أذهب مع الأسرة إلى شاطئ البحر. So are there any sentence you don't understand? Okay, so that's one sentence. أذهب مع الأسرة إلى شاطئ البحر. I go with my family or with the family to the شاطئ. شاطئ means shore or beach. Okay, so I go with them to the شاطئ of the بحر, the shore of the sea, i.e. the beach. Okay. كنت سعيدا في العراق. I used to be happy in Iraq. Okay. ما رأيك في جدة? Okay, ما رأيك, that's one of the main things we're going to study today. It basically means what's your opinion? What do you think about? Okay. أذهب إلى مكة للعمرة والصلاة في المسجد الحرام. Okay. So أذهب إلى مكة. I'm going to Mecca للعمرة, for the sake of Umrah, or for Umrah and praying in the Masjid al-Haram. كم تستغرق الرحلة إلى مكة? تستغرق, that's the word we said that wasn't actually covered here, which means how long does it take? تستغرق. استغرق يستغرق means how long does it take? So how long does the trip to Mecca take? How long does the trip to Mecca take? كم? How much? Okay. So we would say in English how long, obviously. تستغرق, it takes ساعة واحدة تقريبا, roughly 1 hour. تقريبا means roughly, closely. Okay, roughly. If you like, it's an estimation. Okay. طيب, ممتاز. Let's go to the next dialogue.
الوحدة 11. الناس والأماكن. الدرس 92.
الحوار الثاني. انظر واستمع.
من أين حضرت؟
حضرت من اليمن. أنا يمني.
ومتى حضرت من اليمن؟
حضرت قبل 10 سنوات.
هل معك الجنسية اليمنية؟
نعم، ومعي جواز السفر اليمني.
هل حضرت للعمل؟
لا، حضرت للدراسة، وبعد الدراسة تزوجت.
وماذا تعمل هنا؟
أنا أستاذ في الجامعة.
هل تزور اليمن؟
نعم، أقضي العطلة مع الأسرة في اليمن.
هل أنت سعيد هنا؟
نعم والحمد لله.
والآن جاء دورك. انظر.
Okay, ممتاز. All right. Let's again go back to book clap and see which words you don't understand, inshallah. Bismillah. So these are the words. If you want me to play the sound, I can do so.
الوحدة 11 الناس والأماكن الدرس 92
الحوار الثاني. انظر واستمع.
من أين حضرت؟
حضرت من اليمن.
I was looking
أنا.
for the vocabulary. There you go.
الوحدة 11 الناس والأماكن الدرس 92
المفردات: أستاذ، يتزوج، يزور، جواز السفر، جنسية، قبل.
Okay. So everyone knows what the stad is. Everyone knows what the يتزوج is. Okay. جواز السفر. Passport. Passport. So jawaz literally means permit. Okay. So travel permit, if you like. Basically, passport's what allows you to travel, right? That's what it means. Yazuru, zara yazuru means to visit someone. Zara yazuru means to visit someone. Okay. Or to visit a place. Okay. It means to visit. Jinsiyah, we've done that before in unit 1. Ma jinsiyah tuk, it means nationality. Qabal is the opposite of ba'd, which means before. Okay, qabal means before. Right. Going to these sentences, which of them don't you 100% understand? So we have من أين حضرت؟ حضرت من اليمن. أنا يمني. ومتى حضرت من اليمن؟ حضرت قبل 10 سنوات. So basically, it's saying that من أين حضرت? Where did you come from? We done last week حضر يحضر means to attend or to come. Where did you come from? من أين حضرت? حضرت من اليمن. I came from Yemen. أنا يمني. I'm Yemeni. Okay. ومتى حضرت من اليمن? متى حضرت? When did you come from Yemen? حضرت قبل 10 سنوات. I came 10 years ago. All right. So I don't want to like translate sentence by sentence. So tell me which other sentences you don't understand. I'll continue reading it, inshallah. I can translate sentence by sentence, but that's against the philosophy of the book. Like I shared with you many times before, the philosophy of the book says you understand Arabic in Arabic, okay, and not through translation. But we just tend to explain things if students get stuck. حضرت قبل 10 سنوات. هل معك الجنسية اليمنية؟ نعم. ومعي جواز السفر اليمني. هل حضرت للعمل؟ لا، حضرت للدراسة. وبعد الدراسة تزوجت. وماذا تعمل هنا؟ أنا أستاذ في الجامعة. هل تزور اليمن؟ Do you visit Yemen؟ طيب يعني أنت أتيت من اليمن، حضرت من اليمن، هل تزور اليمن؟ Do you go back home? Do you visit back home? He said نعم، أقضي العطلة مع الأسرة في اليمن. هل أنت سعيد هنا؟ نعم والحمد لله. طيب حضرت means to come from and to attend. Yeah, it could mean to come from and it could mean to attend as well. So literally حضر means to come somewhere. So in some contexts it means to attend. In some contexts it means to actually come from a place. Okay, so حضر means to be there, basically to be there, to come from somewhere, that you're there, that you attend or you've actually came there. هل شاطئ البحر إضافة؟ نعم، شاطئ البحر إضافة، مضاف مضاف إليه. The shore of the sea, if you want to translate it literally, the sea's shore or the shore of the sea, i.e. beach. Okay. ممتاز. لا، حضرت للدراسة وبعد الدراسة تزوجت. تزوجت comes from the verb تزوج, which we've seen in the vocabulary and all of you understood, which means to marry. So he said after studying تزوجت, I got married. Okay. Right. ممتاز. All right, let's go to the third dialogue and after that we'll explain some of the grammar concepts, inshallah. بسم الله.
الوحدة 11. الناس والأماكن. الدرس 93.
الحوار الثالث. انظر واستمع.
أين تسكن الآن يا بدر؟
أسكن في القرية.
لماذا تركت المدينة؟
القرية هادئة والهواء نقي.
ولكن في المدينة جامعات ومستشفيات وشركات وأسواق.
وفي المدينة أيضا ضوضاء وتلوث وازدحام.
لماذا تسكن في القرية وأنت تعمل في المدينة؟
ليس هناك مشكلة.
كيف تذهب إلى المدينة؟
أذهب بالقطار.
كم تستغرق الرحلة إلى المدينة؟
تستغرق ساعة ونصف الساعة تقريبا.
والآن
طيب ممتاز. Okay. All right. Back to the vocabulary and then explaining some of the words. تفضل.
جاء دورك.
الوحدة 11. الناس والأماكن. الدرس 93.
المفردات: تلوث، نقي، هادئ، ازدحام، شركات، أسواق، قطار، مشكلة، قرية، نصف ساعة، ضوضاء، هواء.
Okay. So this particular one, we can see that a lot of the words are not understood. And it's mainly because a lot of these words are abstract concepts. It's very difficult to sort of like put them in pictures. Okay. So talawuth here doesn't mean industry, it means pollution. Pollution. So they showing air pollution here. Okay. Then we have naqi. Naqi means it's the opposite of something being mutalawith, polluted, which is something being clean. And if you like, basically not polluted, basically. So the air, al-hawa'u naqi, means the air is clean. Okay. Hadi means calm. Hadi means calm. And it's the opposite of dawda. So there's a lot of opposites here. Talawuth and naqa or naqi are two opposites, even though they're not the same here, because this is not an adjective. This is a verb or noun, and that's an adjective. So there's sometimes a problem with the book, whereby they don't give you words that correspond to each other. What would be the opposite of naqi is mutalawith. Okay, and the opposite of talawuth would be an-naqa, cleanliness or being clean. Or clear. Hadi, calm. Dawda is the opposite. Dawda means noise pollution, if you like. Okay, so noisy. Okay. Izdiham, traffic. And all these things, obviously, you're very familiar with if you live in big cities, like London, for example. All these words, they ring a bell. Talawuth and izdiham and dawda. That's what he said in the dialogue anyway. He talked about living in a qarya, not living in a city. And he said, why? Because he said in the city you've got talawuth and izdiham and dawda, which is true. Whereas in the qarya it's naqi and it's hadi. Okay? It's calm. Then we have qitar. Qitar means train. That's straightforward. Aswaq is one of the words we've done before. Suq, the plural of suq. Aswaq. Sharika, all of you understand, is the plural of sharikat. Mushkila is problem. All of you seem to understand the other words. طيب, let's go to the sentences. أين تسكن الآن يا بدر؟ أسكن في القرية. لماذا تركت المدينة؟ القرية هادئة والهواء نقي. So he's giving his reason why he left the city. Okay, he could have said لأن القرية هادئة هادئة والهواء نقي, but they haven't taught you لأن yet. So he just put it as a جملة اسمية. القرية هادئة والهواء نقي. Yes. So ضوضاء is basically noisy or noise pollution, if you like. Right? ضوضاء is just noisy. Too much noise. القرية هادئة والهواء نقي. أحمد said sorry. ولكن في المدينة جامعات ومستشفيات وشركات وأسواق. Everyone trying to prove their point. Ahmed's trying to prove his point that living in city life is better. Badr is more convinced with the life in small towns. Okay? So Ahmed is telling him that, you know, in big cities we have جامعات ومستشفيات وشركات وأسواق, things that you need. But then Badr, in a very smart and subtle way, he said, نعم, true, but في المدينة أيضا you also have ضوضاء تلوث ازدحام. So you mentioned all the good things, let me tell you all the bad things. Ahmed said, لماذا تسكن في القرية وأنت تعمل في المدينة? Ahmed's not giving up. He still wants to get to him. Why would you live in a قرية when you can live in a city? Specifically, وأنت تعمل في المدينة, while you work in the city. وأنت, this one over here, this is something that we call حال. I haven't covered the yet. That's a bit more advanced, but it basically means while you work. Okay? So literally speaking means وأنت تعمل في المدينة, and you work in the city, but it means while you work in the city. Okay? ليس هناك مشكلة. It's no problem, he said. Now Ahmed wants to bring a problem. That is a problem. كيف تذهب إلى المدينة? How do you go there? You know, if you live in the قرية and you work in the Medina, in the city, how do you go there? He said, no problem. أذهب بالقطار. One of the best modes of transport. Simple. Ahmed's not giving up. Ahmed's still going at him. كم تستغرق الرحلة إلى المدينة? You know, hoping that Badr says to him 4 hours or 5 hours. No, Badr says تستغرق ساعة ونصف الساعة تقريبا. ساعة, 1 hour and half an hour. So basically ساعة ونصف, which is a more concise way of saying it. ساعة ونصف. But here he said ساعة ونصف الساعة, which is also correct. تقريبا, roughly. Okay? So I found this to be a very interesting conversation. تستغرق الرحلة, like we said, تستغرق might be a new verb. It means how long does it take. تستغرق الرحلة, the trip takes, or how long does the trip take to the city. تستغرق, it takes ساعة ونصف الساعة تقريبا. طيب, ممتاز. Any questions? What does هادئ mean? هادئ means calm, relaxed. No, not too loud, basically. It's the opposite of ضوضاء. Okay? Right. Let's explain a bit of grammar and then we'll go to the workshops. Bismillah. One second. Okay. In terms of grammar, we have a quick recap of what we've done last week. Last week we covered plural verbs. نذهب, okay, we go, or نشرب, or whatever verb it is. You put the noon at the beginning. We also did attached object pronouns. تركته, كتابه. We mentioned the difference between these two. It's the same pronoun, but if it's joined to a verb, then it becomes an object pronoun, i.e. مفعول به. And if it's joined to a noun, then it becomes مضاف إليه. Okay? We talked about that as well. And we reminded ourselves of the لا of negation as opposed to the لا of prohibition. لا سأقضيها في تونس. Right. This week, it's mainly about verbs. And it's mainly about present tense versus past tense. There are some other grammar concepts. We will cover them inshallah on Tuesday. Let's focus on this today. Okay? So when we have verbs, we have the present tense and we have the past tense. So far, we've done the present tense for 6 conjugations or 6 pronouns. We've done for 5, all the 5 singulars. أنا, أشرب, for example. We've done أنت, تشرب أنت تشربين هو يشرب هي تشرب. We've done that for present tense, alhamdulillah. We haven't done all those 5 conjugations yet for the past tense. We also done the plural, which is نشرب. But for the past tense, we haven't done that yet. So today is really comparing between the present tense and the past tense. Okay? So we have the verb. The verb is شرب. The verb is فعل. The verb is ذهب. Okay? But in Arabic, as opposed to English, we add something to the verb to tell us who did it, which pronoun, tell us the tense, and tell us the number, if it's singular or plural. All those things we add to the verb. We prefix it or suffix it to the verb. That's what we call verb conjugation, one of the most challenging things in the Arabic language, because something that's alien to you, you're not used to that. Okay? But it is also one of the most crucial things in the Arabic language that you absolutely have to get the hang of. You have to get the hang of. Right. And the only way you get the hang of it, obviously, is by practicing a lot. Okay? You have to practice a lot. So let me show you, inshallah ta'ala. We've done this before in the Arabic Essentials course, but we'll just do a quick recap of it. Let me just fire up the document. 1 second. Bismillah. So I've shown you this Excel template before, or this Excel worksheet. So we have the word or the verb kataba here. Okay, so this is going to show you exactly what happens to this verb when it is in the past tense and when it's in the present tense. Okay, so you're more familiar with this one now, even though we should have started with this. So this is one of the things that, you know, it's an issue with the book. It starts with present tense before the past tense, when the past tense is the actual, you know, verb that we take from in order to make the present tense. Okay, so we'll do both, inshallah, right now. So we have kataba, for example. Okay, so we don't have kataba because it could be kutiba as well. But let's just say we have the kaf, the ta, and the ba. That's the root verb. These 3 letters, kaf, ta, and ba. Okay. Sometimes they write it like this as well. That's how they write it sometimes. Okay. Right. So when we take these, we have the word to write, kataba. Okay. Now, we don't add the fatha at the end. Why? Because just generally speaking in grammar, the haraka, fatha, kasra, dhamma on the last letter, it's normally never set in stone. As a matter of fact, that's where grammar does its job. It works on that last letter. So if we right now put a fatha here and we say, hey, this is kataba, then some of the conjugations are going to be in trouble. Okay? Because the fatha is not there. So the fatha is not the default. So kataba, this is basically for huwa kataba. And this is what you need to know, which is that in Arabic, whenever they have the origin of the verb, which in English we would call the, what do we call it in English? I don't know, but that one verb that we use. In Arabic, in English, I think they call it the gerund, or they call it the verbal noun. I think the gerund, yeah. So you have, for example, to eat. That's what they say in English, right? In Arabic, we don't have that. In Arabic, we have the singular masculine past tense. That's our starting point. And then we move along from there. So that's why they say kataba, darasa, shariba, okay? Which is this one over here, basically. Huwa, okay, kataba, okay? But when it comes to conjugation, when you want to go from kataba, the first thing you have to do is get rid of the fatha. Step number 1. Because that fatha, it is there for huwa, kataba. It's not there in every other conjugation. So that's why we got rid of it. We got rid of the fatha. We end up with ka, ta, and ba with sukun. Now, what do we do to this for the different conjugations? Okay, this is what we've done so far, the fi'l mudari. Okay, but in order to get the fi'l mudari you have to go to the fi'l madi. Okay, so what do we do to the fi'l madi, the past tense, in order to make the present tense? Okay, what we do is, first and foremost, the first letter we give it sukun. Take that as a rule. In the fi'l mudari', the first letter of the verb always has a sukun. Okay, so we have aktubu, taktubu, taktubina, yaktubu, yaktubuna, whatever. That first kaf at the beginning, yes, which is from the actual verb, is always going to have a sukun. All right, so that's the first thing we did. Okay, then the ba obviously is not going to have a haraka, because we said the ba, it depends on grammar, depends on whatever grammar function there is. This is fluid, dynamic, right? But the only letter that we need to worry about, which can get a little bit tricky, is the one in the middle. Do we give it fatha, kasra, or dhamma? That's the only issue. That's the only thing you need to memorize or remember for each verb. There is some pattern when it comes to, for example, when it comes to verbs that have dhamma in the middle, then it's normally going to be a dhamma. Okay, but when it comes to the fatha and the kasra, the pattern is not that simple. Okay, so for example, here we have kataba. Okay, or katab, right? It became yaktubu. Why wasn't it yaktibu? Why isn't it yaktabu? Why is that one tu, yaktu, and not ta or ti? Okay, specifically if we have fa'ala, fa'a, and then the lam, fa'al, it becomes yaf'alu, not yaf'ulu. Okay, like this one. This one's yaktubu, but fa'ala becomes yaf'alu with a fatha. So that's just something that you're just gonna have to remember. Okay, that's why if you go to any English dictionary for verbs, it's gonna have a column they call sound, and then you're gonna have two letters. For example, for this one, it would be a/u. Okay, what they mean by that is they're always talking about the middle letter, the middle letter. The other two letters we don't need to worry about. The one at the end, it's got to do with grammar, and the one at the beginning is going to have a sukun when it comes to mudari'. So this basically relates to when you go from madi to mudari', what do we do? Well, for this particular verb, we put a fatha on the letter in the middle, and we put a dhamma on the letter in the middle when it goes to mudari', yaktubu. And this obviously differs for each verb. Okay, so shariba would be i. Okay, at the beginning, shariba. Yashrabu, it would be a for mudari'. It would be like that. Shariba yashrabu. Okay, this is something you're gonna have to memorize for now. Okay, shariba yashrabu, dhahaba yadhhabu, kataba yaktubu. And that's why in the books, when the scholars they teach, you'll find in the books of tafsir, in the books of hadith, and all different books, they say, for example, they say kataba, okay, similar to dhahaba. Okay, what they mean by that? What they mean by that is kataba, it's similar to dhahaba. No, not dhahab, it's not the same as dhahaba. Darasa, for example. Kataba and darasa is the same. As in, kataba becomes yaktubu, just the way that darasa becomes yadrusu. Okay, so you'll find that in the books a lot. Okay, they give you one word that everybody's familiar with, how it should be, and they just say to you, this word you might not be familiar with, it's similar to that word in terms of how it goes from madi to mudari'. Okay, type kataba, we said put a sukun on the first letter, last letter leave it empty, and the one in the middle we have to define it, if it's fatha, kasra, or dhamma. Here we defined it, we put a dhamma. Now the Excel sheet does everything else. Now, why the Excel sheet? I just want to prove to you here that if this can be achieved by way of formulas in Excel sheet, then of course you can do the same thing. Okay, that's how systematic the Arabic language is. It follows a specific pattern. Okay, now imagine how, and I'm not even a Microsoft Excel expert, right? But I just define what comes before the verb, what comes after the verb, and Excel does the rest. You should be able to do the same thing if you just remember these. And you're not going to remember these by memorizing them. It's just a matter of conjugating the verbs from one to the other. Take this verb, change it to this, change it to that, change it to that. Keep on doing that until it becomes second nature. So for example, when we have the madi, katab, then let's do the mudari actually. Let's do the mudari because you're already familiar with this, right? We'll go back to the madi after that. So we have the kaf sukun. As you can see, kaf's got sukun in all instances. And then we got a dhamma in the middle. So it's got a dhamma in the middle in all instances. That doesn't change. The only thing that changes is the la at the end. Why? Because that's what grammar's got to do with. Okay? And verb conjugation is a grammatical thing. When we talk about the last letter is a grammatical thing. When we talk about the beginning of the word or the middle, that's a morphological thing for those of you that don't know, right? As in that's got to do with sarf. Everything before the last letter has to do with sarf. For those of you that know morphology sarf, everything before the last letter has got to do with sarf. The last letter belongs to nahu. Okay, so those are two main signs in the Arabic language, nahu and sarf. Everything before has got to do with sarf. Sarf is more about the meaning of the word, lexically speaking, or the meaning of the word in terms of dictionary. You go to a dictionary, what's the meaning of that word? That's what sarf has got to do with. Whereas nahu has got to do with what's the meaning of this word in this context, within this sentence. Okay? Is it a fa'il? Is it maf'ulun bihi? What's the role of this word within a sentence? That's what nahu has got to do with. Okay? Okay, so that's why the last letter has to stay empty, because that's a grammatical thing. So here we have, for example, aktubu could be aktuba sometimes. You can have a fatha sometimes. Sometimes aktub, it could be sukoon. Okay? So that at the end can change. Don't think it's always a dhamma. I just put it a dhamma here because dhamma is the default, but it's not always the case. So we have before, this is what we do for the mudari'. We put a letter before the verb, we put something before the verb, or we put something after the verb. In other words, it has a prefix and a suffix. That's the mudari'. Whereas the madi only has a suffix. We never put anything before the verb when it comes to madi. Madi is all about what comes after the verb. That tells you who did it, the gender, the number, if it's male or female, how many people, all of that comes after the verb. Whereas mudari', there's half of it comes at the beginning, some of the information that tells you who did it, and the rest comes at the end. Okay? So for mudari', when it's ana, we put hamza at the beginning, aktub. And that's the only time when you'll find hamza at the beginning, hamzatul qata'. That's the only time when it's ana. Okay? Aktub. Then we have ta, or we have ya. Now, take this as a rule. Ta is normally for the person you're addressing. Ya is normally for the person you're talking about. Only this would be the only exception here. Okay? Through the whole table, this is the only exception. Okay? So we have ta, the person you're speaking to, second person. Ya for third person. Okay? And then at the end of the madi, we're going to add stuff as well. So for the aktubu and anta, it's just a dhamma. Anti, we add a ya and a noon. Kasra, ya and a noon. Taktubina. Yaktubu is dhamma, dhamma. So as you can see, for the singular, what can we see? What pattern do we see? That for the singular, we normally don't add anything to the end. We add things to the end more mainly for the plural and the dual. We didn't get there yet. Okay, so just you put a dhamma at the end. There's only one exception to the rule, which is taktubina. That's the only time we add something to the end of the mudari'. That is actually different. Okay, so we've done this. Okay, how about madi? Now today we're going to do madi. So far we've done 2, I think. Okay, but there's 4 more. Okay, so again we add something at the end. What do we add at the end? If it's ana, we say katabtu. If it's anta, we say katabta. If it's anti, we say katabti. So far easy. Anta katabta, anti katabti. It's the same. Kataba, you already know, that's the origin. He. Okay, what if it's she? Katabat. You add the ta at the end. But this ta doesn't have fatha, kasra, dhamma, it's got sukoon. That's really important. That's the main thing. So the main difference between when you're speaking about a female or you're talking to a female when it comes to madi is the haraka. If katabti, you're speaking to her. Katabat, you're speaking about her. Okay? Now, if you haven't heard of any of this before, you never studied this before, this might have gone above your head, right? But that's what practice is for. So let's do a bit of practice, inshallah, quickly on WooClap. And obviously, there's more practice to be had in the workshops and in the assignments, inshallah. But right now, just to see if things are understood or if everything is completely gone above your heads, let's do some quick WooClap answers, inshallah. So here we have WooClap questions. So here we have a fill in the blank exercise. Please do not add harakat. Please, if you add harakat, your answer is going to be wrong. No harakat. The only time you add harakat is in the next question. For this question, no harakat. Don't add فتحة كسرة or ضمة. I just want you to fill in the blank, and I hope I'm sharing my screen. No, I'm not. Great. Okay, there we go. Okay, so here we have fill in the blank question. So we have fill in the blanks for the present tense of the verb ذهب. That's the verb we're looking for. The verb ذهب. So محمد something إلى العمل. فاطمة something إلى العمل. أنت something إلى العمل. أنا something إلى العمل. أنت something إلى العمل. All of them is ذهب. But you have to write the correct conjugation. The correct conjugation. And remember, present tense, not past tense. Okay? Muhammad is going to work now. Fatima is going to work. You are going to work. I am going to work, and you, feminine, are going to work. What would be the correct conjugation? Okay? After you do the present tense, we'll do the past tense, inshallah. Let's see some of the answers. So question number 1, محمد يذهب إلى العمل. One person wrote ذهب. لا, don't write ذهب, please. I said present tense. بارك الله فيك. I'll give you some more time. You only have 4 answers so far. Okay, let's see. You got 7 answers so far. Okay, so I'm going to give it 10 more seconds, and then I'm going to grade it. And then I'm going to press the correct answer. And then after that, I'll give you 15 more seconds. You need more time? Just let me know in the chat. I know typing might take a bit longer. I'll give you some more time, inshallah, no problem. Take your time. Answers are coming in now, mashallah. Yallah, another 20 seconds. Okay, can't see any new answers coming in. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. If you've done half of it, just submit it now, inshallah. Or you done whatever. Submit it, inshallah. Bismillah. Right. Okay. So here we have, well, for the most part, we can see, Annie, above 50%. Not bad. What are the answers? Let's see what the answers are. So these are some of the most frequent answers. Muhammadun yadhabu, correct. Dhahaba, past tense, no, that's wrong. Then we have Fatimatu tadhabu, yes. Dhahabat, past tense, no, we don't past tense. Then we have Anta tadhabu. Dhahabta is past tense, we don't want past tense. Okay, so it seems like some of you didn't understand, or didn't read the question. Then we have Ana adhabu, correct. Dhahibun, no, dhahibun is not a verb. Barakallah fiqh. Dhahibun is a noun. Dhahibun is a noun. You can say ana dhahibun al-amal, no problem. But that's not a verb. Okay? You're using the ism fa'il, or the what they call in English active participle, which is basically when you take a verb and you turn it into a noun of the doer who does that verb. So for example, you have someone who goes. Dhaba, he goes. Dhahibun, someone who goes, basically. Okay. Talaba means to seek. طالب, someone who seeks. Okay, and so on and so forth. طيب. Then we have for number 4, ذاهب. Yeah, that's wrong. Number 5, تذهبين. نعم. أنت تذهبين, not أنت تذهب. And I'm not surprised that this is the one people got most mistakes on for the most part. That's always the case. تذهبين is always very confusing because it's a complete exception to the rule. It's a complete exception to the rule. That's why it's so confusing. Like, then we have the past tense. So the exact same thing you just done for the present tense, I want you to do for the past tense. But now you have to add the haraka. Listen, you have to add the fatha or kasra or dhamma or leave it empty for sukoon on the last letter. Okay? Barakallah feek. On the last letter. If it's sukoon, leave it empty, and otherwise add fatha, kasra or dhamma. If you don't add the harakat, I'm not going to know what you meant. Because it's the haraka that makes the difference when it comes to past tense. The haraka makes the difference. I.e. the fatha, kasra, dhamma at the end makes the difference. Okay? Specifically when a ta is joined to it. Okay? So make sure you add the haraka to the last letter. Barakallah feek. Add the haraka to the last letter. The last letter that you write fatha, kasra, dhamma, or sukoon. I.e. sukoon, just leave it empty. Don't write the symbol for sukoon, just leave it empty for default. Right, I'll give it 30 seconds. Barakallah feekum. Right, okay, so we're going to submit the answers. I'll give it 5 more seconds, or let's say 15 more seconds. Yallah. We need to start the workshop. Surah. Alaikum salam wa barakatuh. Okay, inshallah. As soon as we're done with the lecture, I'll upload the document to the drive, inshallah. Just give it 5 minutes. Right, okay. I think everyone's struggling with this one. Bismillah. Yeah. So, for the first one, Muhammadun Dahaba, I can see, yeah, some of you wrote present tense. Please, I said past tense. Okay. This person, he didn't write the fatha, but it's okay. Okay. Then we have Fatimatu Dahabat. Naam. Someone wrote, I told you not to write the sukoon sign. Okay. Some of you wrote sukoon sign, don't write it. Tadhabu, present tense. Please, I said past tense. Then we have Anta Dahabta. Naam. Tadhabu again. La. I said past tense, not present tense. Then we have Ana Dahabtu. Naam. Dahabtu. Okay. Not Dahabu. Dahabtu. You had to add a ta at the end. And then finally we have Anti Dahabti. Not Tadhabina. Tadhabina again is present tense. But anyway, inshallah, you'll get more opportunity to practice this, inshallah, during the week. Okay? Barakallah feek. This one is past tense. Okay. Now, أحسنتم. خلاص, we'll suffice with that, inshallah ta'ala. I'll catch all of you in the workshop. You'll find the link in the Telegram channel. So the Telegram group. Barakallah feekum. Inshallah, we'll start 5 minutes from now. So workshop will start about 5 minutes from now, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.